We're talking Lions news here. We're breaking down observations from the second day of padded practice, the good, bad, and the ugly, breaking it down. Plus, the Detroit Lions have interest in a free agent pass rusher. We're going to break it down right now. Let's go. Let's jump right into it. Dave Burkett said that the Detroit Lions have interest in Mr. Matthew Judon. Said the Lions have had dialogue about signing four-time Pro Bowler Matthew Judon, a free agent West Bloomingfield Heights and Grand Valley State product who had 5.5 sacks, Atlanta Falcons last season. Local product here. This is what Matthew Judon is. If you don't know, obviously we've talked about him a lot this offseason, but 6'3", 275, 32 years old, 25 sole tackles, 5.5 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. Why are the Lions interested in Matthew Judon? Well, Matthew Judon is the prototypical edge that they're wanting to have, right? The bigger guy. He's big. That's what they like. If you look at Marcus Davenport, right, setting that edge, that big body. You know, look at Zadarius Smith is the same thing. We lost Levi and Musarike. We lost some interior defensive line. So if you were to bring in a player like Matthew Judon, it makes sense because he can play all over the Detroit Lions defensive line, and it gives the Lions some much-needed depth after already having some injuries sustained, even before practice even started with Levi. So I think that Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, absolutely should be looking at some players to bring in. Matthew Judon is one of those guys. I think him and Zadarius Smith, one of those two, it would make a lot of sense in Detroit. I guess it's just what the flavor you want. And more importantly, it's probably to deal with the contract if they're wanting to bring one of these guys in. So I think it'd be a positive thing. I'm all for it. I want more talent on this team. You're never going to hear me argue the Lions bringing in a free agent pass rusher. So should the Detroit Lions sign Matthew Judon? I want you guys to answer this one in the comments. S for sign or P for pass. Let's go ahead and get into the quick notes really quick of training camp. Alex Anzalone returned to practice. That is a good thing, and it didn't sound like that a contract was getting done anytime soon, but he's back at practice. That's a good thing. Stanley Thomas Oliver left practice with a hamstring injury. We don't know the severity of it, but he's a backup guy. Al-Qadim Mohammed, Roy Lopez, Tim Patrick, and Ennis Rakestraw returned to practice. Yes, good injury news. We love hearing that. People are starting to come back to practice, and that is absolutely a positive thing. Sheila Ford Hamp came out to practice and received a lot of applause from the fans. Why is that? Well, because she made this team really, really good, in my opinion. She's done a phenomenal job, so she deserves all the accolades in the world. That's what it's all about. Jameson Williams is a crowd favorite right now with Jared Goff and Dan Campbell also drawing loud cheers from season ticket holders early in practice. Jameson Williams really turning that corner, really is starting to become the veteran wide receiver that we need him to be. And it's on the field. It's now off the field. You can see it in his language. You can see it in his face, in his confidence. You can see it in the coaches, in the way that they talk about Jameson Williams. 100%. He's going in the right direction, and I am happy that he's getting love from the fans. It's about time because he's doing the right things, and that's what's good. Tyleik Williams was getting first-team reps with the Detroit Lions defensive line, as to be expected with all the injuries. I've been telling you, if they pick the guy with the 28th pick and all these injuries occurred, of course you're going to have to rely on him. Matter of fact, I just did an interview with ESPN Radio talking about, instead of being Tate Ratledge, one of the most important players from the rookies, now it's going to be Tyleik Williams with all these injuries because he's got to go out there and make a splash impact for the Lions because the injuries. So we're watching Tyleik. He was injured basically when he got drafted, but it seems like everything is starting to be okay as well. Some procedural injuries have popped up in the offense early on, with both the first team and second team offense committing false starts and penalties. There have also been some early flash plays as Kai Roche ran over safety Lauren Strickland in one snap. Linebacker Ezekiel Turner flew in untouched to blow up the run play. Stuff like this is going to happen, folks. But there is but look, this man is trying to make the roster, and he's running into the defenders, and he's being physical, and that's what you want to have, right? You want to have these physical players out there, and it's going to be difficult for a lot of these young guys, especially the running back position, or the wide receiver is a 6. It'd be hard to make the Lions team because it's so good at depth there. Linebacker Grant Stewart made a nice play on wide receiver Amon-Ra St. during special teams rep and showcased plenty of energy. Yeah, he's going to be a fan favorite right now. When you look at Grant Stewart and what he's doing on the field, he's coming in here with his long hair. He's going to probably get some love from the fans when he's doing these big hits. He's doing a good job in training camp. He's definitely making the team, and he's one of those guys I wasn't really expecting a whole lot from, but yet you're getting production out of Stewart, and that's a good sign for the Detroit Lions and the depth at all positions, especially the linebackers position, because when we do start getting injuries, and it's going to occur, we have the players to hold the fort down until our starters get back, and I think that Grant Stewart is absolutely one of those guys that can do it. Like the video. Can we get to 300 likes? That would be epic. That would be really, really good. Let's continue on here. We're going to talk about Sam LaPorta. He made a big play, showing off his run after catch ability on the short pass from Jared Goff. He's been making a lot of plays in training camp. That's Sam LaPorta. And him and Jared Goff in this offense is definitely going to be a big connection. I expect Sam LaPorta to have a lot of targets this year, because that's just how it's been going for the Lions. This training camp has just been really good. How about we get into some really fun stuff and Aidan Hutchinson versus David Montgomery, because Hutch there, he sniffed out the run play and smashed David Montgomery. I tell you what, Aidan Hutchinson's been all over the practice field. Hutch is getting it done out there. He has been a monster in practice. So if you were one of those guys that thought he's going to have rust, I was one of those guys who did not think he's going to have rust, and it's looking like I am correct here, because Hutch is being epic. Jackson Meeks versus Kyle Allen. With Kyle Allen. So what was going on here? Making some plays here. Jackson Meeks had an exciting highlight grab on the pass from Kyle Allen, going up and snaring one-handed catch, working against Stanley Thomas Oliver. If you're Jackson Meeks, you're at the bottom of the depth chart at the wide receiver position. You're doing literally everything you can. And I tell you what, these young wide receivers that got drafted, they're looking good right now in the draft. You're seeing it. Tesla, we'll talk about him in Meeks. All the wide receivers looking pretty good right now from the young core that we have. Starters, veterans. It's looking pretty nice. It is. I'm excited for the future of the wide receiver position. How about we get into Hendon Hooker here, and he had a really good touchdown. It's good to hear for Hook. See how he's doing there. He is working with the second-team offense today. Tossed a touchdown pass to Tom Kennedy. The wideout beat Tyson Russell in the right corner of the end zone. But the rest of Hooker's 7-on-7 period was unspectacular. He threw backup incompletions after touchdowns to Kennedy. It's up and down right now for him. It's up and down right now for him. You know, it is what it is. Next up here, the defense was winning a lot. They won their 11-on-11 in the red zone period as Jared Goff was forced into throwing multiple incompletions, a sack in the pocket when it was collapsing, if you could get a sack. Cornerback Terrion Arnold also made a nice play on the run by David Montgomery. We got to see how this interior offensive line is working. But look, the Detroit Lions defense is good. I mean, you got a hell of a good secondary. Detroit Lions defensive line is getting a lot of pressure right now. That's good. It looks like defense won the period today. And it's going to happen, right? And I expected the defense to be ahead of the offense. The offense has won a couple practices. Now it looks like the defense is taking on a practice of their own, and that's good. We can't have butt cheeks defense. We can't have a defense that's ranked 32. We got to have something that's much better. like getting to 300 likes. Hey, if we get to 300 likes, that would be great. All you got to do is smash that like button. Let's continue on here and talk about kicker Jake Bates made all 3 of his field goal attempts, but distance is uncertain. The reporters couldn't tell exactly what the distance was, but Master Jake Bates is doing his job. Phenomenal work right there. Aidan Hutchinson. We're going to get back to Hutch because he has just been the stud of this practice. He beat Dan Skipper on the inside with ease and would have had a strict sack on Jared Goff. This is Dan Skipper. This is our backup against Aidan Hutchinson. Don't cry on this one. Hutch smokes folks. That's what the Hutch does. Wide receiver, rookie wide receiver Isaac Tesla got the best of veteran DiCaprio Bootle on a go route in the outside for a touchdown to end practice. Isaac Tesla has been getting better in practice. He's had some really good moments. He's still a rookie, but the sky is the limit for Tesla right now because he just keeps making noise. Just keeps making noise in practice. He just catch after catch, and he's growing too. Jared Goff, at some point in him, will be on the same page, and it's going to be glorious to see because the depth at wide receiver is amazing. You have an injury, you can put another guy in. You have another injury, you can put another guy in. You just keep drafting young players, keep bringing these players in, and everything works out perfectly fine. That's what we're seeing in training camp right now. But pretty good day at training camp. I think the biggest positive here, no freaking injuries. That is substantial. Yes, made it through another practice without injuries, and I tell you what, that's always going to be a good thing. We're going to do that through preseason. We're going to do that through the regular season. Injuries are bad, and we didn't have a lot today. With that said, folks, adios.